Christmas in July, let's make a pot holder. But first, always remember to share this so it will save to your profile and you can find it when you're looking for it again later. There's a template for both of these at hometownquiltcompany.com. I started by cutting out 2 pieces of the larger triangle and 2 pieces of the smaller triangle of both the fabrics and the wrapping zap. This is heat safe batting, and I always only use 1 layer, but because my hand is going to go in this one, we have 2 layers. We're going to start with our small triangle. The first thing we're going to do is put some bias tape right here across the bottom. This is double fold bias tape. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's called double fold because it folds in and in again. We're going to open it all the way up and lay it on our project, and then we're going to stitch, we're going to stitch in this crease right here. And we're just going to stitch from the top to the bottom. And then we're going to cut off the extra. This is supposed to be a Christmas tree, but y'all, every time I hold it up, all I can see are one of those orange triangles on the back of a tractor. I've sewn it on. Now I'm going to open my bias tape up and fold it over. And it has that crease in it already because it's double fold. So if you just let it naturally fold back over, this is what you'll have. And I'm going to sew down this side of it. Now this time, I'm going to sew close to this edge. You're going to sew it with a straight stitch, just like you would a top stitch. I still think the concept's cute, but it definitely needs some ornaments or something. So now it's going to look like this. Now we're going to lay it down here so that the tips at the bottom match up. And we're going to add our bias tape all the way around. And you're going to have this really cute Christmas pot holder. We're doing it the same way. Open it up and sew right there in that seam. We're going to put that on the edge of our project, but we're going to leave this open. We're not going to sew that down. We're going to leave us a little tail because we're going to use that in a minute to close our project up. And you're going to sew it all the way around all 3 sides. If you search Hometown Quilt Company quilt binding, there is a detailed tutorial of exactly what I'm doing right now. This is the same way that I bind my quilts. Okay, we just sewed all the way down to the corner. How do you make this corner? You're going to take your bias tape open, all the way open, and you're going to fold it out to the right and straight out to the right, and then you're going to come back to the left. Now, if this is confusing, and I know that it is, there are some great tutorials on quilt binding, and I do it exactly the same way. The only difference is I'm using bias tape here, and on the quilt binding, I'm using quilt binding, but the corners are done the same way. That's how I connected my 2 pieces of bias tape. This one I opened all the way up and folded it under, and I folded this one all the way out, and then I sewed to where I started. Now, we're just going to flip our bias tape over onto the back side of our project. Your bias tape has a natural fold in it. It just naturally folds in and in again because of the way that they create it. And now we're going to come to the back side. And this time when we sew our bias tape down, we're going to sew close to this edge. Straight stitch, and just sew it close to the edge like you would a top stitch. And these are also from the Sugarberry collection by Andover. The fabrics that Missouri Star Quilt Company sent us to make all of these Christmas in July projects, they're linked in the caption if you love them as much as I do. But don't forget to email me a photo to hometownquiltcompany@gmail.com. I want to see what you did with your Christmas tree pot holder. And that's it. Now you have this precious pot holder. Is that not the cutest ever? My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.